So welcome to the channel, especially to those of you who haven't been here before. You're here today just to talk about add-ons real quick, as quickly as we can. A couple of these are going to require a minute or two just to kind of go over and talk about the basics of them. I'll say this up front as far as add-ons go. One of the best things you can do as far as just trying to like figure things out and just roll through it, is to just start. You just gotta start to play around with them. Like you just press a bunch of buttons and see what they do, and that's how I've figured out everything with all the add-ons that I currently have. Having some external help here and there, like what I'm here for. What I like help a lot of y'all out with here on Twitch for that, just like for the more minor and more important details on some things, but so yeah, I mean, we'll start. Bartender is pretty straightforward. Let me hide Spotify real quick. So you can see these are my keybinds down here, and I have a couple extras over here on bars that I'm hiding that y'all can't see. And I have like this here that y'all don't see, but slash bartender. And this menu is all pretty self-explanatory. This is one where like it's definitely just easier to figure out by just kind of playing with it yourself. So like this bar over, these two bars over here, if you want to hide them, uncheck lock so you can see what the number is. Bar 6, hiding them is it's a fade out, and you can set a fade out delay. So yeah, I don't want a delay on that, so it's just kind of like if I'm on it, it's there. If I'm not, it's gone. It's like real easy. You check the box, you set it down to whatever you want, and then that's it. The rest of it's just real self-explanatory, like how many rows you want, how much padding you want inside the bars, which will space these apart. Like the space in between the buttons, that's what the padding means. How many buttons you want, scale, all that shit. I mean, that's just purely up to you and like where you want things. You got like my stance bar, my micro menu hides, these bars hide just because I don't really need to see that. And my keybinds here, like y'all don't really need to see that either. So it's like, I feel like that's a better place to just like keep my music from my Spotify, so you know, I'm just gonna keep that right there. But yeah, but bartender is very straightforward. My character screen right here that shows all the extra stats and things like attack power and like my item level here and all that is called DejaCharacterStats. Names of all the add-ons will be in a list in the description below the video, and then at the top of that list I will have the link to my WeakAuras collection that has most, if not all, the WeakAuras that I use right now for like raid, mostly for keys or like a few character or spec specific things that I have that y'all have seen, especially for balance. I have a bunch of balance WeakAuras. But one thing I really like about this is this little lockbox at the top right of the frame. You can click that and it pulls down all this extra shit that you might or may or may not want to see. So it's like you can see like extra dodge, the value of speed that I have, speed percentage, which I already have up here because it's movement speed. I don't need to see that like more than once. There's just like a lot of unnecessary things that I take off, like my health. I see my health right here. I don't need to see that. Mana, I don't need to see that. Rage, I know I have a, it's like a lot of things like that. But so then that way when I have this up, it's not just like all the basic shit that you have when you first install the game, or if you have to do like a fresh install or like whatever it may be. Values, all this. I really like it. Real handy. We can talk about this. My player and my target and my target of target. That is called shadowed unit frames. So I type SUF for that, and that brings that up. And again, this is another one that's just like real easy, just to kind of start pressing buttons and playing around with stuff by yourself just to see what you might like the most. One thing, I guess like the major thing is more like the debuffs and the buffs and things. I don't have my buffs down here because they're up here. I like them up here. I'm like 100% fine with that. I'm actually gonna go to a different spot though, because it's blocking my WeakAuras up here and I don't want to block that. So we're gonna just go to Dow. Say heck it. You tanking? Yes, he is. Addons got in there. What up, Wick? How you doing, dude? And yes, I'm motherfucking Zandalari, dude. I did it for like very little benefit to myself. I just think they're fucking cool. I really like them. So, anyways, back to what we were doing. WeakAuras up here, of which we'll go over here in a minute. But alright, so SUF, player, enable portrait. You can do things like that. All these extra things. I mean, that's completely up to you. Porta highlight on mouse over. I mean, just a lot of shit in here. Frames, height, width, scale, all that shit. Auras is the shit where you'll find the buffs. I have it disabled right now because I don't want to see it, but the settings are the same between the debuffs and that. For debuffs, the filters on that, you can just kind of like choose what you want shown or not. The display, enlarge auras for curable. Yeah, that should be checked. I don't know why that's not, but I've got all, like, pretty much all my debuffs will just be like a little larger. What are you doing, Spotify? Positioning, max rows per row. If you can, like, are they locked? How do I do it? I forget. General lock frames. Okay, yeah. So when you first load this up, it's gonna look like this. As far as that goes, and then you can go through, and that's where you'll go here. Sorry, and then adjust everything that you want. So debuffs per row. Probably just keep that to 4, so it's not scuffed behind my frame. On my target, that should be not like that. So yeah, you can just adjust like how you want that, how big you want them. I want them big, of course. And then you can go to target, and then it'll be under the same thing. So buffs, I don't have buffs showing for my targets. I don't need to see that. Display per row, just 4. That's weird. That shouldn't be like doing anything too nuts. You can do 3 like that. Do I have a Boom King guide up? Not right now, dude. No, not yet. And we're really only for raid. I don't play balancing keys, really. I'm not very good at it. Need like to spend more time in keys and that, but I spent so much time tanking, so get to work then, bro. Oh shit. Yeah, you're telling me, dude. I just need to spend time in the content. But yeah, so for SUF though, dude, like it's pretty much just like, it's another add-on. As I said, it's easiest just to kind of roll through and just start pushing a bunch of buttons and see what you want and don't want, and remember as best you can any changes and things that you might make. But it's all pretty self-explanatory. They're pretty good about being upfront with like what everything does and all that. So, yeah, So yeah, I'm just gonna lock everything back. And that's SUF. I really like that for my names and my targets and all that. Come over here to this little add-on for my map up here. It's called SexyMap. I really like it. If you want to change anything on that, you right-click anywhere on it, and it'll pull up the add-on menu for that. And dude, there's a whole bunch of things that are kind of like automatically on here. You can have coordinates show if you want on there, which isn't like the worst idea. Actually just probably keep that on though. And then, well, it's easy enough to turn on. Heck it. If you want to change how it looks, you can just roll in here and just roll through. Like, there's a whole fucking menu for it. For the background, where is it? Oh yeah, here. So you just roll in. There's a whole bunch of presets like already like included with it. Pretty sure I have Stargate on here, and I've got runes, or no, like runes, I think. Blue runes, yeah. They're all really cool though. Roll through there and just have a look yourself if that's some shit that you like. I've got Bagnon, which is its own thing. You can link this. I have it off right now, but you can have it show what's in your bags and your alts as well. It'll be like a little drop down thing right up here in the top left of it. I really like that. But you know, I don't really play my alts that much. And even when I do, I kind of mail all the shit that I'm gonna sell into one character anyway. So, can I help you, sir? Be my druid daddy, lol. Need to go. Oh, true, that's you, lol, dude. I really like this though. My favorite bag add-on personally. I just, there's another one. There's a couple that aren't like bad. As far as like bag add-ons go, but this is just, I don't know. I know my shit's kind of everywhere right now. I've always got a lot of mats in here, as you see, like fucking pots and flasks and drums and gliders and fucking 2-3 specs of gear. Whole bunch of nonsense, dude. But you know, it's whatever. I like Bagnon. It's does a job. We can move over to details. Another good add-on. It also is what shows my ability bar over here. So you can just like see what I'm using and when. Bark skin and extra thrash, survival instincts. That's not for me, that's just mainly for the stream and y'all. I know the buttons that I'm gonna press, so. One helpful thing, if you want to create a new window, you mouse over the cog that's right here, and you can close it or open it. I think I have the max amount open right now. But this is where it would show if you want to open a new window or not. All the menus are real easy to navigate and all that. Right click wherever the name of the frame that you're on is, and it'll pull up a whole list for everything that you might want to see. So like my total meter down, because on my top one I generally have the current fight for damage, current fight for healing, and then it goes to overall at the end, and then overall damage throughout a whole key. So that's on overall already. I can look at like interrupts and see that that rogue kicked virtually nothing in that key, but it's whatever. You can see cooldowns used. The Waycrest 11, I think, just like an easy blast. I use Bark Skin 15 times and I use Instinct 7 times. And pretty much everything else, like healing taken, damage taken. So if you ever want to like compare that, so like I took 22.5 mil damage throughout the whole key. and healed myself for 14.1, so that's not bad. It's about healing myself for like 60+% of the damage I took, which is fine. And then like friendly fire, all this shit. Easy enough to navigate yourself. As you set your frames up, so I'm just gonna reset it all. If you want to, like, as you get things all set up, you can go to the bottom left here, create new tests, or create bars for testing. They all gotta be on current though for you to be able to see it. And then it'll just kind of like show a bunch of stuff. And then once you're done with that, you can just kind of see how it's gonna look and how it's gonna show. And then once you're done, you just hit reset, and then that's it. And everything else in here, like I said, it's another add-on. It's very self-explanatory. They're doing a better and better job of like explaining what everything does inside the add-on itself. Just like what everything does and is for. So like create test bars. So you can do like bar height just to make those bars fatter or smaller depending on what you want. I had it on 22. Yeah. So like bars, and then bar text, you can make that as big or small as you want. Back to 22. And now it's 20. Maybe 21. Heck, dude. I forgot. Editing window 1. Okay, what about, what's 2? X is at 20. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, and then if you want to adjust specific things by themselves, in the bottom right it has a drop down menu for whatever, if you want one to be one way and another thing to be another way. Easy enough, dude. Everything else in here pretty straightforward. Streamer settings. Oh shit, yeah, and if you want to make this page bigger, you go to the top left of this and you can adjust the size of your options window there. But goddamn. Action tracker options is what's that thing right here for me, just to show what I use and when. Event tracker, I haven't used that. It's like to show like what all is also happening around you. I feel like that's a little bit too much info on my screen. So I don't use that. But I do have overall party damage on my thing though. So usually that'll be like if I'm in a party, overall DPS would be right here. That's what this is right here. And that's pretty much details in a nutshell. I don't need to talk about anything else there. It's fine. Angry Keystones. No, that's just for like, I don't use angry Keystones for key timers. I just have it because I like how it adjusts my dungeon frame over here. Shows what it fixes. Or I don't even remember what's on the default because I haven't used it in so long. So shows what affixes are next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This right here that shows all like my score, best run I've done, timed 15 runs and above, time 10 to 14, time 5 to 9. That is all part of the Raider IO add-on. That's, you know, IO is its own thing. We got another video on the way up about that this week because I have some opinions about Raider IO. Let's just cancel these bars right here. I don't need to see that. And yeah, so that's Angry Keystones. What else, dude? Talked about Bagnon. Talked about Bartender, BigWigs. So BigWig, that's BigWigs. So that's what I use here. for dungeons and raid. Hit toggle anchors, you can see where everything is. So I've got my smaller timers here, larger timers here when they get down to like 10 seconds or below, I think, is when they normally go here. Timer, raid warnings, important things happening around me are all gonna pop up here. Between BigWigs and DBM, whatever you might prefer, it's kind of like up to you. To see it in action, you'd have to like swing by the stream or check out one of my, in the keys that I have up on YouTube right now. I believe those are all with DBM, but you can always come by the stream and see what we're using in keys right now, which is BigWigs, which I really like. And it's really just for like announcements and things and timers. And then as far as some mechanics and things themselves, I have in WeakAuras, which we'll probably just go over next. That's BigWigs is pretty cool. It's pretty much just another version of DBM, which most people use. I just prefer BigWigs, so. /GGF or GottaGoFast, which is the add-on that dude, I have this fucking tag is like itching the shit out of me. This is what I use for keys. Where's the lock on it? Demo mode. Yeah, so this is what I use for keys for when I'm in a key. It's just sure like all the timers, when I kill the boss, how much percentage I have left. I have an extra WeCore that helps keep track of it for reaping. But if you ever want to set that up, you go into the add-on menu, display frame, go into demo mode, and then you can adjust anything you want on this. Font size, display, objectives, a whole bunch of extra things for it. The dungeon features auto dialogue. So things like that. So like when I go to start the RP in Freehold with the pig dude, before you fight the turtle and Trothak, all I gotta do is right click that guy once and it automatically does that for me. I don't have to deal with that. It does the same thing in the last boss in Temple. Just automatically starts the fight for me. So just be aware if you're doing higher keys and you're gonna pre-pot, you want to do that before you do before you talk to the last boss in Temple, so you don't get cucked out of a pot, because it's happened to me prior to me getting used to that. So but a nice little thing. Quarter stars, Prince Exorsus by automatic. Yeah, I don't need that. Because we don't do quarter stars anymore. So turn off demo mode. ERT I use to log keys. It's Exorsus raid tools. I really only use it to log keys. And it's like got like notes for raid and stuff that we use in my guild. Kind of shows like what your raid leader, like whoever makes the plan, can like just make notes and stuff, so everybody can easily see that. There's a whole bunch of shit. There's raid cooldowns on here as well that I'll sometimes show. Really just like depends on what I'm doing, but raid cooldowns as a tank, this is some shit you generally want to be using. If I was raid tanking right now, I would have this up at all times, like everything. Not everything, but like Rallying Cry, Spirit Link, Darkness, Ancestral Protection Totem, Iron Bark, GS, Pain Sup, Sack, Lay on Hands, Cocoon, all the shit. So if you're raid tanking, these are some things that like you want to be showing for sure, just because you should be, as a raid tank, calling for external cooldowns like a lot. Like They're there to be used, and if you don't know what the cooldown is or if and when it's up, how you're supposed to plan your cooldown as much as call for externals to help you get past whatever, or do you just like help make things easier on the group and your healers as a whole. So ERT is a great add-on. There's a bunch of things like that that can show cooldowns for raid and all that, but if and when I do raid tank here and there, which I just don't do it often anymore. I'm just kind of not really a fan anymore. I really like doing keys. So that's there for that, and then the rest. I mean, again, it's just shows bonus loot for everybody. Yo, what a tattletale add-on, dude. Shows that everybody bonus rolled. Holy shit, dude. Since I've had the add-on on. Holy crap, dude. Wow. You're gonna calling people out, dude. This is not cool. But yeah, if you were gonna try it out, just have a look. Visual note, yeah, that's another thing. You can like make your own thing on here. And just like draw a bunch of shit, whatever you might want. I'm just gonna clear that. But that's it. I'm just trying to go over everything before we get into WeakAuras, because WeakAuras is gonna take a couple minutes. MDT, Method Dungeon Tools, of course. So yes, this is some shit. So like this is my route for freehold for this week. Can you get your mount out of my face, dude? Fucking Algalon, dude. Out of my face, please. So one thing I really like about MDT is that you can highlight pretty much everything you're doing. This add-on is really mainly just for like you as a tank. I don't really like draw too much on it that much, just because like I know what I'm doing, and the people that I'm playing with, I can just like explain either the more quote-unquote complicated pulls that we're doing, or just like where we're going, what the plan is. But if you really want to show people what your plan is and what you'll be doing, so they can like see, so like at the beginning of freehold for this week, like we pull these 3 packs all together, just blast it all down, and then kite when I start to lose health, not based on my necrotic stacks, but based on just when I start to lose health, and I just need to start to kite. And then come up here, drop like a little arrow to show like I'm gonna pull these over here, I'm gonna LOS it right here, and then we'll get the first reaping wave right here. And then we do this pack here, then we come back up and we do this pack and this pack, either together or separately. Excuse me. And I'll do like a different color for that. Then we can like mouse over these, highlight this, because then after I kill these, I'm gonna get reaping wave number 2. And then I don't have to, then when I come over here and we get the next wave over here, I don't have to wait 9 years for things to walk over here. And you can even right click these, edit, reaping number 2, reaping 1, just whatever you want in there, shroud or this or that, lust this boss, do this, pull all this trash and then lust if it's a fortified week or something like that. And we'll come down here. You can kind of like highlight, like I would be pulling these 2 together, because you're gonna get a bunch of necrotic stacks right away from this. Just pull all that. Reaping wave number 3. And then you'll get reaping wave number 4 at some point around this. Check when I'm... This is to show when you do the RP for whatever boss you have for that week. And that's pretty much it, dude. I'll go back to answering and talking to y'all when I'm over this. I don't want to interrupt add-on things to talk about other stuff. I see you. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to get this done first, and that's pretty much it, dude. Like, MDT, again, is pretty self-explanatory as far as, like, making plans, doing routes and things, just adding it up. More importantly now, just making sure you make, like, notes, like the 1s and the 2s and the 3s as you hit, like, 20%, 40%, 60%, all of that, so you know where you're going to get the waves at. Which, especially for a week like this, where you're going to be you're going to be wanting extra healing during the reaping waves themselves, which means you probably don't want a bunch of necrotic stacks going into that wave, so just knowing where that will happen is actually very, very handy. And then any of the mobs and trash and things that you have here, you can right click on any of them, including the bosses, and look at everything that they do and see what abilities they do, how it affects them. And I mean, yeah, that's, again, it's just like self-explanatory. The monkeys go bananas, they spin, it fucking hurts. The brine scales cast Frost Blast and Water Bolt. Frost Blast, which hurts, especially on Fortified. And slows you. I don't think it says that it slows, but it does slow you, and it's really annoying. Or that's the Brute right there. Oh yeah, no, that would be the Brute. Earthshaker, yeah. So, that's pretty much it. MDT is great, dude. If you're trying to tank stuff, man, I don't want to say it's like a must-have, dude, but it's very, very handy. So, MDT is amazing, and if you don't like to use a lot of add-ons, like, I get that. I know some people are like that, but this is one that you kind of like need if you want to quote-unquote push higher keys. You're, as a tank, you're gonna need this. And to also communicate with who you're playing with, what you're doing, what you're planning, what you're gonna pull. Helps your DPS plan out their cooldowns and things. Might help you plan to, like, alright, so if I'm gonna need, like, if in theory I wanted to pull like all 3 of these packs at the same time with a spotter, I'm probably gonna want Earth Ellie there and or Trance, depending on what your comp is. Which would be like, alright, so if I'm gonna use that here, that's Earth Ellie is a 5-minute cooldown. So I probably don't want to use it right here. If I'm gonna use Earth Ellie, I'm not gonna have time for it to be up again if I do it here. So I might just like use 1 or 2 of my larger cooldowns here, and then use Earth Ellie maybe like here, and then through that trash, and then being up for the reaping wave. So just things like that that you could start to think about. As far as like how you want to plan things. That's pretty much it, dude. Freehold's pretty self-explanatory. Motherload's another one, just kind of like knowing what you're gonna pull and when, where you're gonna want your cooldowns and things. This is on another week. Oh yeah, one last note about this. You can drop down and see all the weeks. So like next week is Fortified Bolstering Skittish, so come tomorrow, which will be Monday. When I start to think about routes for this coming week, I can go ahead and start making them. Motherload, for a discretionary point, is Blizz has tweaked the mobs and the trash count. Not the trash count in there. Well, no, yeah, they nerfed the teaming again, actually. So the percentage count in Motherload has always been a little sketchy. So one thing that I've done in here in the past, when like they've done an update or like whatever, I'll make like a new route and just gonna have a decent gauge. So ideally, we just want to do like 1 or 2, no more than 3 bombs at the end. Doing 2 is like ideal to end the key, and so you can skip the last wave of ads. So then I'll highlight those 2 bombs there, and then I'll come up here. I usually shroud all this shit right here, pulling at least these 3 small ones, but this one dies real fast anyway too. just to make sure you'll have enough time to shroud up there, because these ads can be real wonky and like they run around a lot and just kind of bounce around and stuff, and can really fuck up shroud very easily. So I could be like, all right, so I want to just pull like this stuff here, this stuff, these 5 packs. I want to try to avoid the pat and then do like 2 bombs at the end, which means by the time I get here, ideally I could have, it'd probably be better just to go ahead and do this. So then you're doing the 80% wave, or no, that's not even 80. So yeah, no, not doing the pat. So then you can do the 80% reaping wave before you come and like pass the point here. So I want to be like somewhere around like 83.07% at least, maybe like a little over. You can hit it like spot on, but that's just like to have a rough idea for like, all right, so by the time I get here, this is where I want to be. The last route I had made in here was a perfect percentage, and last time I did it, I executed it pretty well. It looks a little scuffed right now just because I was teaming. So, you know, whatever. Oh shit. No. Where was the other route that I had? Well, ripped in, but you get the point. I had this planned out for last week for teaming, and it was spot on, so that's MDT. Let's be done with that. So probably the biggest thing, hold on, let's make sure we got them all. Bartender. Immersion is its own thing. It's just like a chat box add-on that just makes it easier to read. LittleWigs is a part of BigWigs. We talked about GottaGoFast, ART details, Premade groups filter, and Quartz. Okay. So Premade group filter is so when I'm like looking at a group that I might want to join, I can see what their comp is. I can see like if I were to go to look at like a 15 key. Getting through all the fucking sales, like, all right, so 14 King's Rest, so I can see they have a mage and a warrior. Not exactly like ideal. It's 14. It's not like a huge key, but they have a rogue, which is important to know. So all right, so if I'm gonna sign up for like a King's Rest key, and if my route's any kind of decent, I want a rogue, and I can see that they have a rogue, and that's great. And I can see like if they have like. Ideally, like, I'm fine with priests in general. It can get a little weird in high keys as far as, like, how to work with them. This priest is just, like, a little awkward with bear at times, so. Go away, dude. I don't want your big shiny mount on my video. Please. But yeah, so that's Premade group filter. Some people say they use it so they can look for like a specific level of key or whatever, which you don't need, because if you type in 15, the game automatically by itself is going to show you keys 14, 15, and 16, plus whatever sale shit that's in the chat. And so then if I type in like 12, it'll show me 11, 12s, and 13s. The game does a pretty good job of that just by itself. The only annoying thing that will throw this off is you'll see people like, let's look at like 17. And people like Khalifa here, motherfucker, will type in like 18, 19, 20. So then if you look at like 17, you'll see that. If you type in like any of those 3 numbers, you're going to see. Like, the only time it's annoying is when I'm trying to look at, like, 17s or something, and I see, like, low keys because they type in, like, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I'm like, dude, I'm looking for a 17. I'm not looking for your fucking 12 key. Like, so don't do that. It's actually annoying when you type in a bunch of numbers in your description just to get seen by people who probably don't want to do your key anyway. So, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, dude, so. Yeah, your brain is large. Yeah, dude. Okay. I'm just fucking around, but y'all get my point. Quartz is the add-on that I use for my cast bars. So that's what I use like here. And then on my target here, it's gonna show here as well. So obviously I don't need to see my own cast twice, but it's more for my targets. That's like its own thing. That is not a part of SUF. That's like its own thing. So I really like Quartz. It's really good. It's very clean, easy to read. Also shows a latency thing, like the red part right here. And it shows where you can start to cast again, to keep your cast clean and consistent and all that. It's really, really good. So Quartz is really easy to set up too. Another add-on, as I've said for a few others, it's easiest just to probably just to like mess around with that on your own time. Hit a bunch of buttons, see what things do, and just have at it. WeCore. Alright, so before we get to WeCores themselves, I know I've got my add-on for my nameplates is called threat plates, and so it will show as you load it up by itself. Threat plates is gonna like open up a prompt when you first install it, and it's gonna say, do you want these to be like for actual threat, and you just say yes. And if you are in a DPS or a healing spec, it's gonna show green when you don't have threat, yellow when you're close to it, and red when you do have threat. And then when you're tanking, it's the opposite. It's red when I don't have threat, yellow when I am either about to lose aggro or I'm about to have it, or no, it's when I'm about to lose it. And then green when I have threat on it. So I don't think it's gonna show in a target dummy. No, but shows my debuffs and things on them. I really like it. Threat plates is probably my favorite one out of all the ones that I've used over the years. It's really good. Clear, easy to read, easy to see. Also shows enrage effects on things. So like when a mob for this week gives raging on it, and I can see it. I know it's gonna happen once it gets below 30%, but it's easy enough for me to just see what mobs I haven't soothed yet. And when I mark these, they change to the color of the marker that I have. So it's like real nice, dude. I really like that about it. It's annoying when somebody in party has an auto marker, because then all of my bars are constantly different fucking colors. And not on a week like this, but on a skittish week, having somebody in the party that has auto marker is super fucking tilting, because I just can't like see threat, because they're just marking their WeakAura is just like auto marking fucking everything, and it's just like, dude, like, you're not a tank, why do you need an auto marker? Like, fuck. Unless you're gonna like call and lead a key, which most of the time, if you are a DPS or a healer, you are not. Not saying that there aren't people that do, but in general, they just don't. You don't need an auto marker. So if you're not a tank, I mean, it's fine if your tank doesn't mark stuff, but your tank should be marking things, and he should have those marks on keybinds, so he can just do this quickly and efficiently. Should have your marks on keybinds. It's very important. And same for, oh, one last thing before WeakAuras too. So they did, this is called OPie. This is a world, you can have it for like mounts and things too, like Shift N. I can like change my spec. I can port to the Dream Grove, use my Garrison Hearthstone, my normal Hearthstone, all that shit. I don't use that bar that much though. I really just have it for world markers, which is fantastic, but I had to be in a group. Yeah, someone give me a group for a minute, please. I can't drop world markers when I'm in a group. And I can show you how to set up the party friends for the raid style friends. Who's not in a fucking group? Leaf is in a group. Shoulders, come here. So OPie, when I'm in a group, I can drop world markers like real quick and really easy like this. You can just pick whichever one you want and throw them there, and then the domino will clear them. Real handy, especially for a place like Totagor and things like that. Where you want to drop some things for like, alright, you stand here, you stand here, you stand here, and then I really like that. It's been very handy. I'm still getting like quicker with that, but in general it's really good. I like it a lot. I don't want anything from you, Khalifa. Okay. And then one last thing for this, how to set up your party friends to not be like the default ones. First of all, you're gonna check, like, without that, it's gonna look like the normal thing. You'll have your things up here. I use raid style party friends when I am in a group for keys, which makes it look like the raid frames that you have when you're in a raid. Go figure. I have some things not showing, like incoming heals and things like that. Power bar is yes, so I can see my healer mana. Aggro highlights, not bad. It's not like I'm not looking here when I'm in a key though. I'm looking at my threat plates, because that's what's gonna actually show threat in a productive place. So class colors, if and when you want to see that, you can show pets and all that shit. Main tank and assist I like for raids. Mainly for things like the decurse on Mythic Conclave and things like that. You can display a border, which I'm not really a fan of, but yes, show debuffs. Do not only show dispellable ones, because I like to see everything. And then frame height, frame width. Kind of self-explanatory with that, but that's how I like mine when I'm in keys, so. Hey, Denny. I don't decurse? Yeah, okay, dude. But that's it for that. So, anyways, the most important thing for this is WeakAuras. So when we go in there, before we do this little thing right here, it's only showing a few, because he's a warlock and he's got no utility for keys besides a stun when he plays demo. So that's why he's only got one little purple bar here. But this is called Zuli's, and the front end for this is called Zen Tracker. It shows all my party cooldowns here, which most of you have seen and can see, like just hopping on stream, or I've got it in some other keys on YouTube, like some older ones, but more keys of which we'll be uploading again here soon, because I'm through the copyright issues that I was having with YouTube. Really fucking annoying. But yeah, so I have party cooldowns up here, some other WeakAuras for like kicks and things that I'll show. I'm not gonna like go over all of them because they're gonna be on a list, or there'll be a link in the description to my collection of all the ones that I like to use and raid, and mainly keys and things. But just that's how that will look. So let's leave that, and then WeakAuras. So WeakAuras is it can be a little bit intensive on the memory on your system, depending on how much you have and what you're doing. But WoW is mostly a processor heavy game anyway, so ideally if you're going to be playing WoW, especially if you're going to be playing it a lot, your processor is one of the more important pieces of your computer to be able to play the game efficiently and have things look well and be able to run like a decent amount of add-ons and things. So WeakAuras, it's its own thing though. I have a fuck ton of WeakAuras right now, kind of. I don't know, I feel like there are some other people that have a lot more, but I've got like power bars for like my alts, like my DK, my monk, my demon hunter, my rogue. This one is called a crowd control WeakAura that I need to update apparently, but it shows like right about here so like if a DH throws an imprison out on a mob, I can see the name of the mob that he has it on and the timer for that, so it shows it'll start to count down from a minute once they throw it out. Same thing for like trap, repentance, paralyze, sap, blind, banish, fear, all this shit, hibernate, poly, and yeah, so like WeakAuras again, it's just like I have a lot right now. So like if I reload, I can pull it back up and like show, kind of like it'll show where all of them are right now. If you want to see them like individually, you have to select it, but because if I were to have my WeakAuras up for bear and for balance at the same time that you're about to see right now, it looks a little clunky, but it's just because like it's between other specs and other characters as well, so it's like it's gonna look a little scuffed, but that's whatever. So like my trinkets right here that I use, I have a WeakAura for Twisted Claws, Iron Fur, Jade Wind, all that shit. The buffs from the pools and freehold whenever you're fighting Raoul on the council fight in there. I got a Starlord WeakAura, Arcanic Pulsar, Torrent of Elements when I was playing around with that, Incandescent Sliver, that shitty fucking trinket, so annoying. Incarnation Trade Winds from Paku. Don't y'all get better. I have this really cool one that I like. So my current target, I have a cast bar that shows kind of in the middle of my screen below the warnings from my BigWigs, just to kind of emphasize what's in front of me, so I'm not having to watch down here for my Quartz. So I kind of like that. This little one right here shows the cooldown on the interrupts of my party and or raid members. So I mainly just have it for keys, but so I can see when I use my Skull Bash, it'll show that, like you can see that right here. Maybe it's because I didn't kick anything, it's not actually gonna show. What the heck, dude? But yeah, man, I mean, that's it. I'm not gonna go. Oh, no. Let's show you how to make a WeakAura real quick. Yeah, I think if I don't actually kick something, it's not gonna work. So if you want to make one, if you're just like in the middle of a raid or something, or just like having an emergency, or you just want to keep track of something like easy, and you just want to make one, it's actually very, very simple and very quick. So make a new one. It'll be right here. Let's make it a little bigger, width and height. So here we'll do like 200 by 200. So we got a nice and big right here. Right click the thing over here to change the name of it. So like YouTube test. And then I can do it just for like anything. So let's do it for Incarnation, Guardian of Ursoc, okay? Well, no. Let's do one for Barkskin, because that one that I don't have to change anything for. So, Barkskin. Now, if you don't know the spell ID, which can be annoying to find for things, you can sort it by name at first. And then it's going to show it like this. Make that a little smaller, like 175. 175, so it's not so annoying. And under this, it's gonna show the cooldown on it, or the cooldown, the spell ID. So whatever one you might be using. In a general sense, I can just leave this as is because I don't have anything else popping up on that. An example of where you might actually need the spell ID to show is, so like I've got the Embrace of Paku from being Zandalari right now, and if I go to, I made a WeakAura for it actually. Paku, where is it? Made it, dude. I literally just made it. What is it? I don't think I named it actually. Shit. Pakus. Anyways, so it's like I have a buff already for it on myself, which means I'm gonna have a spell ID for the buff itself and then the actual proc. So I need to do a test and make sure I'm gonna have the right one. Yeah. So which is where you go in there to find the spell ID. So go back down to the YouTube test for Barkskin. But there's no extra buffs called Barkskin besides the cooldown, so I can just kind of leave that as is, and that'll be fine. But the spell IDs, you just mouse over this right here and it's going to show how many possible spell IDs that can be there. Let's go into display. First off, in the text settings themselves, you can see the whole menu that pops up here when you mouse over this. S is for stacks. Just the icon is just going to show the icon associated with the display, the name. I don't need to see that. So in general, I would erase the S and I'll put a P, and that's just going to show the progress, how much time is left on it, which is when the number pops up right here. So then I can be, and like put that in the center, make that text a little bigger. Remaining time precision, I don't want to see like the extra time there. I just want it like clean and simple, easy to understand and grasp quickly. The quicker these things are to process, the quicker you'll be able to react to them and work around them. Make that text maybe like a little bigger, and then you can do like a glow effect for when you want to know when that is actually up. You can change the glow color to like whatever you might want, red, any color of the spectrum. You can also just do like a pixel glow and an autocast shine, which is like this. Again, just up to you, whatever you prefer, what's going to be more aesthetically pleasing for you. And then the cooldown itself, if you're going to have this on, you don't want to show the cooldown text because it's going to show another number on top of the number that you already have here, and you don't need more than one time remaining on the ability that you're making the WeakAuras for. It's because it's more than one number. Obnoxious and unnecessary. So show cooldown swipe, which is that, and not just the time. The swipe will show the bar that's going to go like this. Cooldown itself, oh yeah, no, that's what that is. So I like to show the cooldown edge, so it's just like a little bit easier to see as it goes through, especially for some of the icons in the game can be very bright or very dark, and the cooldown edge just makes it a little easier to see that. And then you can inverse that as well, so it's light and then dark as it goes through. Doesn't really matter. Whatever's going to be more aesthetically pleasing for you and just easier for you to see and to process what's happening and what information you need from whatever the WeakAuras is that you're making. So, but that's it, dude. Like, I just made a WeakAuras for Barkskin that, without me explaining it all, would take me all of like less than a minute. So, oh man, but that's how you make a WeakAura. And then the rest of these, as far as like all the WeakAuras that I have and use, and like any keys or raid for my balance set or things like that, I have them in a collection, the link of which will be below the video right down there. The link for my WeakAuras collection will be above the list of all the add-ons that we talked about, with maybe a couple of others add-ons that I may not have gotten to, or just like very non-essential, just like small things that I like let's delete that. One side note here, so like actually real quick, so for the class bars that I have for like my raids, it's like here, this came with a whole bunch of shit. So this right here is just a raised bar for Druid, and it's attached to an energy and combo point bar for Cat, and an Astro Power bar for balance. And it came attached with a whole bunch of fucking spells or shit that I didn't want to see. And how I got rid of all those spells, and any part of a WeakAura that you feel like you don't want or you don't need, or you just don't like, you can click and then control click through all the things that you do or don't want, and then right click that and delete all. So you can delete multiple parts of any WeakAura that you have all at the same time without having to like go through, right click, delete, go to the next one, right click, delete, because that's fucking obnoxious. So control click anything you might want to get rid of for any packages and collections that you might get from somebody else. Just kind of makes that whole process very easy to deal with. So I think that's it. I think we talked about pretty much everything. This shit up here are WeakAuras as well, for like my neck and my item level and AP required and talents and trinkets and traits, things that are in my collection as well. Those are there. But I'm pretty sure that's it, dude. I don't think we really need to talk about anything else, do we? I think we kind of went over all the essentials, yeah. So cool. That's it, boys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We're still here on Twitch right now, but if you're having trouble with any of the add-ons that we talked about, or you need help with like a WeakAura or something, like, I'm no absolute expert with that, but I will help in any way that I can, especially with any of the add-ons that I use regularly. I'm happy to help. We just swing by Twitch anytime, because we're posting this on YouTube, which is why I'm doing this. Swing by the stream, hit me up if you have any questions about any of the add-ons that we talked about. Here for you. I'll help you as best I can. But and if I miss anything, please hit me up in the comments down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm pretty quick to get back to comments on YouTube. I'm also going to put a link to my Discord in the description down there as well, next to the link for my WeakAura collection and all that, things that I use in keys and in raid. And yeah, we'll sit through the list of all the add-ons down there too. So thank you again. Twitch.tv/NahilloTheBear, because I didn't say that, where to come by if you need some help. So have a good night or a good day, and I'll see you soon.